I'm Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Okay, and we're back. We're doing some more reactions. You guys don't know what I'm going to throw at you today. So everyone else at home does, and we're just going to go straight into it. As always, there's no pause and there's no talking. We will share thoughts and feelings at the end. Hey, so before I talk about anything about the band, I'm just going to go straight over to you guys for thoughts and feelings. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that is self-produced. It did sound very much like a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. Catchy riff. Love that main riff. The vocals, the sort of higher range vocals, I think was at the very limit of her ability. Sort of, if she went any higher or louder, it would have been croaking. I think she's pushing herself in that respect. But in the chorus, there's the sort of lower guttural vocals sort of layered with her higher one. So that sounded really good. And I really like that style of video with the sort of live footage intercut with behind the scenes tomfoolery. Yeah, for a self-produced, low budget maybe debut video. I'm not sure the history of the band, but yeah, I really like that. I'd listen to more of that if it was available. Well, I'm sure it is, but yeah.
Kirk?
Enjoyed that a lot.
Now that is a band that are after my heart. So I loved it. And like you said, Andy, there, yeah, it did sound self-produced, but it sounded really grotty as well. And I like that. At first I thought, oh, this is thrash metal. I do know a bit. You say they're from Indonesia, this band?
They are. Formed in 2016.
So let me give you some context what I know about the metal scene, extreme metal in Indonesia. The prime minister of Indonesia, one of his favorite bands is Napalm Death. Can you imagine him meeting Joe Biden or Boris Johnson last year and saying, "Oh, should we put some music on?" I'm sure that his fellow statesmen won't have a clue about that. And the other thing I know, and you can hear that in the music of this band, there's an element of, you know, that creative expression where you can really unleash some oppressive forces that maybe force you to play by the rules and just make sure that you're observant and venerate the older generation as you should do. But Sepultura's 1991 album was a big hit out there when they had the Suharto dictatorship. And there's the song on there, Inner Self, and that was seen as an iconic moment for the band and in Indonesia for the metal scene. So getting back to their music, very dry distortion, cheap guitar amps, the drums, nothing overproduced. There shouldn't be. So to me, that was a really ugly version of thrash metal with, I don't even know if it was deliberate, the death metal, croaky vocals. Maybe, as you said, Andy, that was the limit to range, but I love them. There's a real human element to that, isn't there? You want a bit of grotesque amateurishness in there as well. And thrash metal doesn't have to be drum triggers, it's not, to be fair, but, you know, ultra fast alt picking. I love that technique, but I just preferred that. This is a band that, if they had the tools to be more technical, they would lose the essence of what they are. I would definitely review that if that came through as an EP or an album. And if the songs like that, there's much to like. Don't get me wrong, there are flaws in that song, but that's part of the charm. So yeah, and when I saw the Creator t-shirt of one of the band members at the beginning, I thought, oh, this will be fun. Clearly they're not going for a sound that's fun. I don't even think they're trying to shock. That was just straight up balls to the wall, or maybe not in that case, because the gender of the band, metal, wasn't it? And it was played with spirit, and it was just played with dry aggression. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to go over the top here. It's not going to change the world, but pleasantly surprised. But in some ways, I do know that metal, extreme metal and grindcore are popular in Indonesia, and I'm not surprised that you see bands like that coming through. You wouldn't get that in England, would you?
I mean, what you said, Kirk, about sort of the sort of a bit harsher term, but amateurish sound, took me back to sort of my tape trading days. You know, the early demos from, you know, the greats that are still around, Destruction, Creator, the German scene. You know, you put it on, and you know it's not going to sound crystal clear and pinpoint, but you're still going to love it and you're still going to enjoy it, and that's what I took away from that, I think.
Yeah, it was like cavernous death thrash, wasn't it? I would, yeah, I agree. It definitely has that mid to late 80s tape trading sound to it, doesn't it? And
yeah, absolutely.
You knew not to take it too seriously, but eventually you were like, do you know what? I prefer this to the overproduced heavy reverb drums that eventually thrash turned into. So yeah, would you, Dave, how would you describe that music?
Okay, so they're classed as Indonesian thrash. To give you a little bit more information about them, so they've been together since 2016. They've never, from what I can tell, released an actual album. It's all been demos. So this is off their first demo. This came out in 2018, which is what I was looking at there. Is they obviously play some decent gigs. So the Indonesian thrash scene is probably better established as far as, or better for younger bands than it is here in the UK, because it's saturated here. Listening to them playing, I was like, it wouldn't feel out of place of them playing somewhere like Club 85. You hear that, it reminded me of seeing a band like at Club 85 who are good at what they do. There were some simplistic kind of the simplistic thrash riff in there, which I was like, okay, it kind of reminds me of a band writing one of their first thrash songs. You kind of dan dun, 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 dun. You kind of go, yeah, okay. It's an obvious thing to go for. I liked they had like a breakdown bit where they went when you mentioned Sepultura, Inner Self. I think there's actually a riff that sounds like a riff off of Inner Self that they actually broke down to, which is why I kind of was quite smiling when you said that. It just reminds me of 80s thrash. That's what I really got out of it. The two things that I would love to know what they're doing now, because apparently they're still together, so I want to see how they progressed, because that was 2 years after forming off their first demo. So that there's stuff in there that I would like to know if they really worked on, because you sort of heard the things like the solo wasn't good. The solo was just an awful solo, really.
It's part of the charm, though.
It's a charm, but to me, that made me go, that's a band that's just trying. But they had the potential. All I heard there was loads of potential. And the thing on, like, when you look at their stage performance, you guys all know from when we watch bands at live, like Club 85, and we did the Metal to the Masses stuff. And one of the big categories that you look for is your stage persona, your stage performance, and how you manage yourself on stage. And what I saw was bass player and guitarist very much holding their little places on the stage, not commanding it, not moving around, not really standing. But again, we're talking about a band that's only been going for 2 years, and you're seeing that really early stage. And what I love is then going back to them several years later and seeing how they worked their stagecraft out. And then you see them, because they would have been 17, 18 around that point when they were doing this. So now they're in their early 20s, still going. It's a shame that I can't find any information about an actual album. They've done one official single release. But I think we should try and find a more recent thing from them and come back and revisit them and see how they've progressed forward and see what they've developed. Because I think they had such potential at that stage. It would be great to see what they're doing now.
Yeah, hopefully they haven't turned into a metalcore band playing 8-string guitars in drop G.
No, please not. But yeah, that was good. I enjoyed Annabelle.
Yeah, a strange name for an extreme metal band, Annabelle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there must be a reason behind it, but I don't know what it is.
Definitely the biggest surprise in a while. When I heard that, I just thought, yeah, it's so raw and my type of music.
Awesome. Well, that was Annabelle, and the song was called Stuck. I'm sure we will go back and revisit them again in the future. If you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.